What if I told you Jesus was the Orisha Eshu, the Yoruba trickster and messenger deity? In fact, in rabbinic literature, Jesus is called Yeshu. As you can see, when you remove the Y, what remains is the name Eshu. Before Eshu was forced to play the part of the Christian devil, he embodied a different, much richer, mythical role. The Yoruba people of West Africa who practice Isheshe believe no prayers can get to the supreme being Olorun, also called Olodumare, without the help of this god spirit, or Orisha. In this mythical system, Eshu plays a role similar to Hermes or Mercury in Greco-Roman myths. In classical iconography, the god Hermes was sometimes shown as a Kriophoros, a handsome beardless youth bearing a ram or sheep over his shoulders. In late antiquity, this image developed a generic association with philanthropy. Early Christians adapted images of this kind as representations of Jesus in his role as the Good Shepherd. Likewise, Eshu is often depicted with certain objects like a staff or a cane, which are typically associated with shepherds. Eshu becomes the god of the pastoralist tribes and cultures of Africa and the Middle East. The Lango, Luo, Tutsi, Somali, Maasai, Oromo, Arabs, Jews, and other nomadic pastoralist peoples adopted the trickster Eshu as their protector and supreme deity. He appears in numerous cultures and has many names. Among the Maasai, Eshu is called Ngai. Like Eshu, the deity Ngai is associated with both black and red colors, representing different aspects of his nature. No one can connect with God without Eshu. This concept is deeply rooted in the Yoruba religion and its belief system. In Yoruba tradition, Eshu takes a portion of all sacrifices offered to the Orishas, ensuring his role is acknowledged and honored. Because Eshu's power is so great, humans must appease him to ensure their well-being and avoid his potential wrath. Similarly, in John chapter 14 verse 6, Jesus says, "I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me." Jesus thus depicts himself as the one who opens the door to communication with God. Just like Eshu, while Christians may struggle with the idea of Jesus being Eshu, a trickster, it is important to understand the importance of the trickster in creation. The term trickster often evokes a character archetype found in mythology and folklore, characterized by ambiguity, boundary crossing, and often using cunning or deception to challenge the established order or provoke change. Trickster figures can be seen as both disruptive and transformative, prompting reflection and questioning of societal norms. Some theologians and scholars, like Peter Rollins, apply this archetype to Jesus, particularly in his use of parables, which often subvert expectations and challenge conventional wisdom, and his actions, which disrupted social and religious hierarchies. Like Eshu, Jesus uses parables to relay deeper messages. The Joker from DC Comics exhibits many of these traits as well. He is known for his unpredictable behavior, his penchant for causing chaos, and his use of humor and pranks to manipulate and disrupt situations. The Joker also displays a cunning intelligence, often outsmarting his adversaries and using their vulnerabilities to his advantage. Both Jesus and Eshu uses chaos as a means of teaching and guiding individuals towards deeper understanding and spiritual growth. Eshu's statue or symbol is placed at the home's entrance, often on the ground near the door. As a protector and guardian of doorways, beginnings and endings, Eshu is also kept outside the house, because he is so complicated that every time he comes inside a house, he brings torment and arguments. In Matthew chapter 10, verses 34 through 36, Jesus says, "Do not think that I came to bring peace on earth. I did not come to bring peace, but a sword. For I have come to set a man against his father, a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And a man's enemies will be those of his own household." The loving and humble Jesus depicted in most of the Gospels is also depicted as having a destructive or mischievous personality. In the New Testament Gospels, there are instances where Jesus expresses anger, particularly when faced with injustice or misuse of religious authority. He challenges both Roman and Jewish religious authority. In John 2 and the Synoptic Gospels like Matthew 21, Mark 11, and Luke 19, Jesus drives out the merchants and money changers from the temple courts. A great depiction of Jesus' Eshu-like personality can be found in the Infancy Gospel. The Infancy Gospel of Thomas, a non-canonical text, presents Jesus as a mischievous child with supernatural powers, sometimes described as a trickster figure. Instead of the peaceful depiction of Jesus in the canonical Gospels, this text portrays him as quick-tempered, spiteful, and engaging in acts that could be considered cruel or delinquent. The text was written much later than the canonical Gospels, and according to the Church, contained embellishments and fanciful stories. However, some scholars believe this portrayal was intentional, drawing on ancient myths and folklore regarding Jesus. A portion of the text finds its way into the Quran in the story of Jesus molding birds out of clay. Jesus' teachings could be seen as tricky in that they invite deeper contemplation and require a willingness to engage with ambiguity and paradox. The trickster archetype often employs paradox, contradiction, and ambiguity to convey deeper truths and challenge societal norms. Tricksters, by their nature, exist on the fringes of society, breaking rules and disrupting the status quo. This disruption, often involving paradoxical situations, forces characters and audiences to confront uncomfortable truths and examine the nature of order and chaos. Both Jesus and Eshu are considered messengers and intermediaries, connecting the human realm with the divine or the spirit world. They govern choices and decisions, and are associated with the crossroads, hence why Jesus' symbol is the cross. Conclusion: Eshu being Jesus is not debatable. Both Eshu and Jesus are depicted as being lovers of wine and parties. Jesus, who ate with tax collectors and sinners, is accused by the Jewish religious elite of being a glutton and a drunkard. Likewise, Eshu's power extends to all areas of life, including those who might be considered sinners or outcasts, as he can facilitate communication with those who are struggling or in need. The Christian idea of Jesus as a savior is not accurate. This idea was created by disciples who often lacked understanding of Jesus' teachings. The Bible recounts instances where Jesus expresses frustration with his disciples' lack of understanding. He often used questions like, "Do you not yet understand?" or "How is it that you do not understand?" These expressions highlight a common theme, that the disciples sometimes struggled to grasp the spiritual truths and deeper meanings behind Jesus' teachings and actions. Jesus, like all tricksters, often defy expectations and societal norms, creating situations where conventional wisdom is questioned and challenged. Jesus came into the world not as a savior, but to disrupt the established order. He came to highlight the limitations of the existing system, its hypocrisy, and to facilitate communication with those who needed it. Ifa provides the best understanding of Jesus, because Jesus is Eshu. Maybe this is why Jesus said in Matthew chapter 7, "Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy by thy name, and by thy name cast out demons, and by thy name do many mighty works? And then will I profess unto them, I never knew you, depart from me, ye that work iniquity." Christians do not know the true Jesus because they don't read or study Ifa. If you liked this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification button too.